You know what was rad I wanted to mention about those days is back in the early 8th Street days is the team letters. You remember with our packages, we used to get team letters, and Mike Ternancy would basically handwrite these or type out these team letters that would kind of let us know where each writer was at in the process. Like, oh, you know, Danny's been doing this and Hemsley's been doing it. And so we'd all get so fired up, and it really worked because I think everyone was like, after reading those team letters, like, oh shit, I got to step up and do some shit. But I remember that really kind of serving as a huge form of motivation for me to kind of find out what these guys snuck off and went to go film last week or whatever, and kind of hearing some of the new tricks going on. And I remember just being fired up.
And I'm not sure if you saw the Carroll episode that we just had, but he talked about Ternancy and using that exact mentality, and it doesn't work for some people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Mike's whole thing, like with Plan B back in the day, was like, you know, if somebody wants to get on the team and you guys can't do all their moves,
what's the point?
So there was like a couple situations, like Kanten Russell, for example, like really wanted to get on Plan B, and he just kept sending videos into Mike. And Kanten's fucking good, man. He was doing some good shit, and some hard ass shit, and Mike was, you know, liked him quite a bit, so he was pushing hard to like get the guys on the team to like consider it, you know. So, you know, that was the only time where I feel like everybody out on the team went out and picked apart each of those tricks and did them one by one.
Right, so in his sponsoring video, Kanten had like the triple flip down the four stair at Sports Arena. It's something like that.
I don't know what he had. But
everybody picked their own trick. Like
it was
Duffy
the back 180 double flip was one of them.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so I did, you know, Sal did it too. We both did it, that trick. I don't know, there was a couple of them, but Mike was like, all right, he's getting on unless you guys go bust all these tricks down.
Yeah, I never hear that.
And Carroll, like that.
Well, it's interesting to hear the difference in how they perceive that or receive that, and then how Mike was sitting here a month ago saying like, yeah, that worked for Danny, it didn't work for me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it worked for him then because he didn't want Kanten on the team. So they were the biggest haters. Those guys were the most crucial when it came to like being catty about shit like that.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a different opinion on the perspective there, because it's funny, those guys, you know, saying, oh, the competitive thing, the Mike's formula of how he tried to run a team, you know, that wasn't for me. So those guys left to start Girl. And those guys used to be like, dude, fuck contests, dude. We don't want to do demos. We don't want to do this and that. Those are gay, blah, 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 you know. And then the next contest, dude, all those guys started showing up at every event, every demo. And like, you know, all of a sudden they realized you can't run a fucking business not doing anything. You know, Mike's whole mentality was always like, if you have that kind of mentality, then you shouldn't be skating professionally. Don't take any money for doing it then.
Yeah.
So you're not a fucking true professional.
Yeah.
The things that were getting pushed towards us were to drive a business that we were all part of, that everyone was taking a check from. So it's kind of hard to, you know, oh, we don't want to work for our money. Like it's like, I don't like to be competitive. Oh, dude, I mean, you're getting paid to do this, or don't get paid, you know?
Right.
So there's a point where you got to kind of man up and go, okay, well, it is a responsibility I got to maintain here, and hopefully it can be on a team of guys that inspire me. Yeah. I would think anyone would want that.
No.
Like we just found out that, you know, from Mike when he was here, that they sort of, for lack of a better term, tricked Mike or Rocco into using all that blind footage in virtual reality because they knew they would never get it for themselves when they all went to Girl and Chocolate, or Girl. Did you know about all that, or?
That's bullshit.
Is it?
Absolutely. Yeah, that Girl and Chocolate, or the virtual reality was so much earlier than the whole Fallout. That wasn't a strategy. I know when those guys were forecasting the leaving because they wanted me to come with them on the Girl thing, I was getting called into that too.
Yeah.
So I was one of the guys they wanted to take, and they wanted me to own part of it with these guys. And I said I couldn't do that to Mike, but that was long after the virtual reality. Yeah, that wasn't a strategy I recall.
Yeah,
that's the same thing Jake said. Jake said the exact same thing. He said that would be way too much like conspiracy, way too foreshadowing for it to even happen.
Way too much thought, way too early. Like, you know, we were all kids back then anyways, so it's, you know, I think a lot of the decisions that were made were pretty young mentality minded.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's 16.
Is that a trip? That's one of my questions too.
About anything.
You're running XYZ at the tail end after Mike passes away. I remember you as being in the office all the time at Plan B, and whether you were running that or helping run that or doing Type A or all that stuff. Like, you were still a kid.
Absolutely.
Running corporation.
Well, we got left in a position that was like, let our skate legacy or our fucking dream program team, whatever, our company that we all love so much, die. because our friend died, or what are we gonna do here?
Right.
You know, it was like kind of like, what do? You got to step up, and we stepped up and took a shot at it.
Did you feel like you were young at the like?
Way too young. I felt like I was, and then I just happened to get my girlfriend at the time pregnant, and shortly after that, and so I was like, whoa. I was in the office and I was using most of the money that I was making from like DC and all my other sponsors to fund my Plan B overhead, which, you know, I didn't know how to run a company at that age.
Sure.
Didn't know, I mean, we did our best. I mean, we made a good shot at it, but ultimately it was just too much responsibility. If I did want to continue to be a skateboarder, I had to make some more bandwidth for skateboarding.
Sure.
So that's what I did.
Where did the surfing injury come into all that time frame? Because it seems like all pretty close, no?
Yeah, I think that's like in early '93 or '4. Like right after Mike died is when I had that weird thing happen. Right after.
Like where's your head at when all that stuff's happening? Mike's dying, the companies are changing or shrinking, dude, or whatever. You're paralyzed, or are you just like?
There's all kinds of stuff going on at that time. It was not a good era. Like Mike died, I got really hurt. That situation with Swindell and the guy getting killed happened. It was like the most darkest time ever. I had a lot of time to reflect, and the injury I felt like was like almost like, you know, it was like it happened for a reason. It was like the wake-up call. Like
yeah,
it's
interesting. How do you feel about death?
Death.
I know that's a very general
it's
question.
a scary thought, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody. I don't know. Everybody.
I think people would look at you or like someone like Cardiel when he was skating and go, or Heath Kirchard or somebody, and go like, dude, you know, you're not scared of anything. Like what? But I think that's like an assumption. But I just wonder your outlook on it because of the magnitude of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think fear is a great thing. You know, I don't think anybody who says they're fearless is full of shit. You know, I think the people that say they're fearless are the most fearful.
Yeah.
You know, I don't live my life. I'm like no fear fucking guy. Like I have all kinds of things that I think about that are like scary to me. I mean, maybe I have some, you know, ability to push myself, you know, in situations sometimes further than most would probably want to. But it's based on a career of a track record of building, you know, confidence in doing that over a long period of time. So I'm a human being like everybody else, you know.
Do people come to you with crazy ideas because of all the stuff you've already done? Do you get pitched like
random dude, when you fucking jump this and jump that, and I mean, how many people come up to me, dude, when is your jump? That word jump, if I have to hear the word jump one more time, I'm gonna fucking jump off a bridge. It's crazy, dude.
Like what's
when's the big
silly
jump?
that someone's come to you with?
When are you doing your jump? I've never did a jump. I mean,
was there an idea to drop it on a Luxor ever? Was that
totally? Yeah.
You actually had that idea?
I had a meeting with the guys from the Luxor. Yeah.
Shut
absolutely.
the fuck up. Have you been to Luxor?
Yeah.
No.
Dude,
It's the pyramid hotel with the big thing you can see from space on the top.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was to drop in the Luxor down the whatever the pyramid, and then the Sphinx is that huge, you know, whatever lion that sits on the front of the hotel. But you know, it also is the second. There's a parking structure right there that it sits above. So I was going to build a jump essentially that went off the top of the Sphinx and over the parking structure and right on the other side.
You couldn't just drop in on it. You have to do the jump too.
You're going to drop in. See, you get a double bang for that one because most people don't know that the rolling just has to be. You have to have the rolling.
Give us one.
Anyway,
so somebody's going to be like, not only did he drop in the fucking Luxor, he jumped the fucking Sphinx. But I had to drop in the Luxor to get the speed to jump the Sphinx.
Like feasibly looking at the angle of the side of
the steep factor is not.
It's not an issue.
No, it's not an issue.
Oh, he got that. He got that.
Dear God.
It's just the length of it, how fast we'll be going at the end.
Is there a point where you max out in speed?
I don't know what terminal velocity is on the skateboard yet, but I'm thinking it's got to be like 70 or 80 miles an hour.
Terminal fucking velocity.
Terms. You threw out terms we didn't even need to know.
Now he's on
Domesticated
physics. I love it.
skateboarders.
Hell yeah, dude.
Dude, it's so bad some days I can't skate. Like I have to be like, fuck, it's too natted out. There's no skate today. There's no skating at all.
It's too natted out. That is amazing.
Dude,